Good morning and welcome to INCRadio, Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. I'm Sister Lara J. Evangelista, and today is Saturday, June 8th, and we're talking about what's next for students this summer now that school is out. So before we get started, we actually have two special guests joining us today. Would you mind introducing yourselves this morning?
Good morning, sister. I'm Sister Alex Larkin. I'm from the local congregation of Temple Hills. I recently graduated this past spring, and I'm going to study neuroscience at the George Washington University this fall.
Hello po, I'm Sister Kaya Santos from the local congregation of Temple Hills. I'm a rising sophomore, and right now I'm interested in getting a career in engineering.
Thank you so much for introducing yourselves this morning, and congratulations, Sister Alex, on graduating high school and, getting accepted into university. So, from what I've heard, both of you actually went to school together this past year. So, I'm so curious to hear, what was it like to go to school together, knowing that, you guys are friends and fellow officers at church? Did going to school together and spending a whole year at school together strengthen your bond in any way?
Well, for me, sister, my senior year was really filled with lots of activities, in school, in church, at school, the senior activities, there's celebrations, ceremonies. You get these awards. Everything is about you that year, right? And sometimes it can become a little bit overwhelming, a little bit stressful trying to balance school and church activities. And so I think that having Kaya, Sister Kaya, at my school was a really good opportunity for me to, be able to talk to her, talk to one of my closest friends and fellow officers in the church, and take my mind off of my personal stresses and instead focus on hers.
That is so wonderful to hear. And, as a senior, Sister Kaya, you were a freshman. So it's so interesting your dynamic as friends, too, because with Sister Alex being it's her last year of high school, and then Sister Kaya, it being your first year of high school, I'm sure it was helpful to have someone that you look up to already as a support system throughout your first year of high school. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sister, it being my first year of high school, it's different. You have to learn to adjust, and it's a bigger school with like a lot of older kids compared to middle school. So it was nice having Sister Alex there if I ever needed help or if I just needed advice for both church and school. She was always there for me just to talk things out.
That's so awesome. And it sounds like you guys had a really fun school year this past year and had plenty of moments to bond. So, now that school is out and now that we're finally in summer vacation, Sister Alex, do you have anything that you're looking forward to this summer?
I think, sister, after that crazy senior year, I really just want to step back and spend time with my family, relax, rest and recover a little bit, and, uh, do our own thing, right? We really like to travel, and my mom has been talking about going to like the West Coast, going to Oregon, doing some nature stuff. I don't know. It's kind of out of our usual thing, but I'm excited, and I hope we can stop by this summer, spend time on the other side of the country.
That's so amazing. And you know what? It sounds like when you go out, I feel like there's a lot of differences between the East Coast and the West Coast. And when you guys go for travel and you're going on your vacations, when you guys make your plans, do you kind of prioritize, you know, or do you look forward to mostly trying new foods, trying new, cuisines, or even doing, activities, excursions? What do you and your family tend to prioritize the most when it comes to your travel itineraries when you go out of town?
We like to keep our trip centered around food. We'll hit up the trendy restaurants or bakeries, cafes. We also like to go sightseeing, go shopping a little bit, here and there, pretty much a mix of everything, sister.
Well, that sounds really fun. I hope that you guys have a blast on all of your travel plans this summer. How about you, Sister Kaya? What are you looking forward to this summer?
What I'm looking forward to this summer, sister, is probably catching up on some sleep. Because, the school year was so busy, we have to wake up early to get ready for school, even though we slept late the night before doing homework, so it's tiring. So I'm looking forward to probably catching up on some sleep hopefully I wake up before noon so I could do other things I enjoy, like playing volleyball with my friends, like Sister Alex, and also just spending time with my family and doing my own thing.
That is awesome. And you know what? I think you mentioned volleyball, and I know we just recently had our Unity games. So I'm curious, in your school, do you play volleyball for, your school's team?
Yes, sister, I do. We're actually gonna have a summer camp where we're gonna train before the tryout this year.
Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. I remember, when I was in high school and playing high school sports, I loved summer conditioning. It was great to just be able to, connect with people and, start building that rapport with your team before the season actually starts. So that's always helpful. And then, you can kind of take those skills and you can put it towards Unity games as well. So yeah, I'm sure you're both very excited to get started on your summer plans. And your summer plans sound very exciting. I wish I was like traveling or had summer conditioning to do this summer. But also, I would love to know, you guys both mentioned how, the school year, it can be stressful. I get it. It was stressful for me too. But let's talk about recovery for a minute. Summer break, it's time for fun and games. It's also time for rest and relaxation and recovery. So, why do you guys think it's important to recover from the past school year?
I feel like, especially after finishing senior year, finishing high school, it's good to pull back, recover a little bit, take that rest, and get ready for the next year after that, right? Going into college, going into whatever other higher education that you're heading into. Um, I think it's really important to rest, and sometimes when things get overwhelming, you may forget that. But, always keep it in the back of your mind. Especially for me, I always had to remember, oh, I need to take a little break. I need to slow down a little bit because I'm moving a little too fast and I'm getting ahead of myself and it's catching up with me. But yeah, I really, really think that it's important to get that rest over the summer so you can prepare for the next.
I 100% agree with that. And, with it being your senior year, I'm sure that you ran into a lot of new and challenging experiences, right? So, do you think that maybe throughout your senior year, there were any moments where maybe the year, the challenges, the new opportunities really pushed you to your limits? And have you, spent any time since the school year ended reflecting on this past year or even the past 4 years and the past season of your life as you're getting ready to transition into, the world of college?
There were definitely lots of times that I was pushed my limit, sister. Um, Even with the start of the year alone, applying to colleges, trying to decide where I'm gonna go, giving all of these, finishing all these deadlines, my finals, college, dual enrollment classes. It was a lot. It really was. But looking back on it, I'm extremely grateful for these past experiences. The past 4 years have been some of the best, and I'm so eternally grateful to God and for my office because I've been able to fall back on it. And, that's kind of my foundation, that's my grounding. And yeah, I'm really just grateful overall and very, very blessed.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And, it's amazing. The best foundation you can have is the faith that we have in the Church of Christ, right? And especially, you mentioned, one of your strongholds is your office. You're very grateful for your office. And I know that both you and Sister Kaya actually hold offices in the youth organizations within the church. So, I'm sure it was amazing being able to go to school together and just press into that and just even strengthen your bond as fellow officers at while you're at school, right? So, Sister Kaya, I'd also love to hear about your perspective on the past school year, in contrast to Sister Alex, as she's like preparing to go into her first year of college, right? But then you just finished your first year of high school. So, how was that experience like for you?
It was very busy, having to learn how to adjust to new things. But so I think it's important to recover because you have to give your mind a rest, especially after that first year of learning new things and having to like get around yourself. So it's important to let yourself rest, let your mind and body rest, just like after a volleyball game. where you have to rest your muscles. So for the next game, you're able to play your best again. Just like the next school year, you have to be able to, work again. So you don't burn yourself out and you don't feel tired and you're ready to learn new things again.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you mentioned recovery also, especially from an athlete's perspective, an athlete's point of view, right? Like your performance in the next game is really going to be heavily impacted by how you recover from your previous game or even your previous practices, right? So I'm curious to know, have you had or do you have any techniques or anything in particular that you do to recover properly from your past school year?
Yes, sister. Actually, what I do is just make sure I stay disciplined. Don't allow myself to fall into like a slump, because it's really easy to let yourself fall into a slump, especially after if you're like tired after working so hard. So you just have to stay disciplined. Keep yourself social, keep yourself out there, and also if you're having trouble recovering, it's okay to ask for help. You could go to a trusted adult, and most of all, you could ask God to help you recover, and like not just like when you work, it's okay to ask God to help you recover, to strengthen you again.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that when it comes to your rest, your recovery, it's also, there's you have to strike that balance when it comes to summer break between resting and really relaxing and turning into a little bit of a couch potato and getting stuck in that, doom scrolling cycle. Because, while it's important to give yourself, that time to just enjoy yourself, it's also important to stay active physically, mentally, right, socially. And I know both of you mentioned you'll be traveling, so you'll be able to get that social interaction in. And you're both, like we mentioned, youth officers, right? So you'll still be using your mind to be doing organizational things as well. So it's very, very, very good. And it's also very smart to say that, to encourage people to ask for help, because life can get hard sometimes. And obviously, the first one we ask for help or guidance with anything is our Almighty God. But we also have support systems around us, like our parents and our friends and our family. So it's really amazing to hear that both of you have things like that in your plans for this summer. And your tips and tricks have been very amazing. Also, according to Visi Psych Care, another way to manage the end of the school year is to let yourself experience all of the emotions, right? Like we're feeling so many things during the school year, but sometimes you just have to put it aside so you can get what needs to get done finished, right? So it's definitely okay to feel tired and stressed out, especially at the beginning of the summer. And it's actually healthy to share those emotions with the people you trust, our Almighty God, whom we trust, no matter who you are, right? Another tip that they shared is to keep the end in mind. So especially at the beginning of the school year, you're pumped up, you have that motivation, you're excited for the new school year. But once you start hitting that midpoint, you start getting closer to that first, break. It's winter break, right? You start maybe getting a little bit tired, you start getting a little burnt out, right? So it's important to, when it comes to times like that, maybe pull up a calendar and maybe start checking off the days and counting down the days until that break, so you can always keep that end in mind and know that at least you're going to have a scheduled break coming up soon. And that'll kind of help you manage your steps and your workload, your motivation, your energy along the way. So don't forget to also schedule mini breaks to look forward to in between and like before winter break, because it's always important. Even if you're like doing a 1 hour work session, a 1 hour work session, definitely do like techniques where you take breaks. So yeah, but it has been such a pleasure having both of you on the show today. And before we wrap up our discussion, I wanted to ask both of you if you have any thoughts or advice that you'd like to share for others that might be stepping on the path that you just finished. So, Sister Alex, as a newly graduated senior, as a rising freshman in university, is there any advice that you'd like to share that maybe you've learned over the past 4 years for people like Sister Kaya, who are still, still have a few years left of that high school season of their life?
Definitely the most interesting thing, and sometimes it can be surprising for people, but I've learned in the past 4 years that as an officer in a youth organization in the church, it'll teach you these skills and these techniques that'll translate really well into the real world, into your education. Skills like building a good team, being able to work and communicate with that team, plan these activities for my peers, and be able to just see those activities, these events follow through, and to have successful organization. These are all stepping stones, I think, and really good learning experiences for jobs in the future, leadership positions in college, and even just on your resume. Having these leadership positions can be really beneficial and really present you as a good leader and a good person to these colleges and these institutions. So I definitely do recommend taking on an office, especially in one of these youth organizations. I would also recommend staying planned, right? As you said, keep a calendar. I definitely held on to my calendar all year. That was my best friend. When I tell you, it was there everywhere I go. I always have my calendar. But it was really, really important for me to have that, so I don't feel overwhelmed. So I'm taking it one day at a time. I know it's coming up next. I'm fully prepared. And yeah, just stay locked in because you got it and God got you. And yeah.
That's so amazing, Sister Alex. Thank you so much for mentioning, especially, taking up an office, not just because, it's a need that we have in the church, right? But also because it can help you in so many ways, like, pouring into the youth organizations of the church, pouring into all of that. When you list something like that on a resume, right, it can really jumpstart your career, and it can really present you as a well-rounded candidate for whether it's a job you're applying for, a college you're applying for, a scholarship you're applying for, right? And you also keep in mind, like, you're volunteering. So it speaks to your work ethic so much. It speaks to your values so much as a person and as a candidate. So I'm also very glad that you mentioned that. So Sister Kaya, as another officer within the youth organization, youth organizations in the church, and, going through your high school journey, have you also come across any advice that you'd like to share with maybe even the rising freshmen this year?
Yes, sister. I definitely agree with Sister Alex and what she said about holding an office in the youth organization. It really does help with your social skills, your leadership skills, because you're in that role. You have to talk to a lot of people. It also helps with your public speaking skills. So not only does it help in the church, it also helps you at school, especially if you have like a group project or you have to have a leadership role. It definitely helps you because when you do it at church and then you do it at school, it makes it so much easier. It's like, oh wait, this is really easy for me now. So especially if you're a freshman and you're not that used to doing group projects or being in that leadership role, it really does help to have an office to, get you started on that and to start small and then work your way up. Because the more you do something, the more comfortable you'll be and the more confident you'll get, especially when you're in high school.
That's amazing. I 100% agree. When I went into high school, even in middle school, when we were doing presentations, I was definitely like, this is so easy because we were leading meetings all the time and we were collaborating in teams all the time at church. So yeah, I think it's just beneficial. It helps you in, in school, it helps you in work, it helps you in life, but most importantly, it helps you in faith. So thank you both so much for joining us on the show today. And before we let you go, do you guys have any personal greetings you'd like to share this morning?
I'd like to greet everyone joining us today here on INCRadio. Hi, and also I'd like to greet my family in Las Vegas, Brother Lorden, Sister Trisha, and Sister London, and my family over in the Philippines and here in Washington, D.C.
Awesome. How about Sister Kaya? Any greetings this morning?
I'd like to also greet everyone watching and also my family in New York, my aunt and my uncle, and also my friends and my grandparents watching in Cali. Hi.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Now let's check out some of our shout outs, special greetings in our YouTube chat. So for today, we have from Cita Velasco, happy birthday, Brother William Valencia and Sister Rhoda Gestoli from Baltimore. Happy birthday. And for anniversaries, We have Janet Gonzalez saying congratulations to all of the graduates, especially to the Waldorf graduates, Annie Nicole Gonzalez, Noah Prado, Kyle Danan, and Krisha Melkor. And Sister Darlene Nadine Dizon says, belated happy birthday to my mom, Sis Beth Gonzalez, who celebrated her birthday earlier this week. Happy birthday and congratulations to all. So let's also jump into, we had some questions in the chat today. So talking about how was this past school year, if, your experiences with graduation, or if maybe you graduated a little while ago, what do you miss from your school years? So Sister Nidell says, I miss that nostalgia of going to classes in college. Sister Anne-Marie Gonzalez says, my semester was tough, but I made it to the end. Now I'll get some rest and rejuvenation before entering my final year of getting my bachelor's. I'm hoping to hang out with my friends and family and to get into my hobbies again, like art and songwriting. I'm so happy for you, Sister Anne-Marie. Congratulations on getting through the year, and I'm excited for you to graduate soon. And Sister Darlene says, I remember when I was still studying, when the school year was done, it took like 2 weeks to basically do nothing. Yeah, I definitely get that as well. And then for go-to activities this summer, Len Dulai says, can't wait for all the summer activities in the CFO po. Hashtag Temple Ills. Thank you so much. We're also excited. As we mentioned, we're all part of the youth organizations in the church. So we are so excited for all of the activities in store this summer. Janet Gonzalez says, a lot of cooking barbecue and making different flavors of ice cream. That's so cool. I want to learn how to make ice cream. Sister Elisa Mojica says, I went camping once and glamping once. Hopefully we do it more often this summer. Glamping sounds so cool. I'm curious to know what the difference between the two are. And Sister Lizelle Ramirez says, definitely can't wait to catch up with friends after the hustle of school and work. Excited to grind volleyball as well. Oh, Sister Kaya, look, you have other volleyball fans in the chat this morning. Okay. And then let's talk about some activities we want to give a try this summer break. So PB says badminton. I think that's also very fun to play. It's super fun in the summer, especially. You just need a net and some rackets. So that's super fun. Sister Darlene says, I think one way to really make the most of the summer is to book a new activity. Reading, binge watching, trying a new food, cooking a dish, and always trying something new. So that is... We've had so many people so active in the chat this morning, and thank you to everyone who has been engaging with our show this morning. Now for our CFO in action, let's check out some of our recent district activities in the District of Washington, D.C.
Youth members of the Church of Christ across the District of Washington, D.C., and all over the world gathered for the Christian Family Youth Summit. This summit taught the youth of the church about the impact of positive inputs like INC giving on mental health and how mental health can benefit when you have faith as your mindset.
Awesome. And for our upcoming activities in the District of Washington, D.C., we have the League 110 table tennis activity on Sunday, June 9 at the Washington, D.C. Chapel at 3 p.m. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. We also have the Unity Games Esports on Saturday, June 13, also at the Washington, D.C. Chapel Function Hall from 3 to 8 p.m. Let's check out what's happening next week on INCRadio, Washington, D.C.
School's out. So, what are the teachers and parents to do during this time? Tune in into INCRadio WDC this Saturday, June 15, 2024 at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time as we exchange ideas for adventure, fun, and prep for the upcoming school year.
Amazing. And following us today is INCRadio Florida at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for their unstoppable support, we'd like to thank our INCRadio Washington, D.C. family for supporting our broadcast, especially to our SEBC president, Brother Angelo Manalo, and of course, a very special greeting to our executive minister of the Church of Christ, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much for tuning into INCRadio Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio this morning. Stay unstoppable. Yay!
Hey guys,
That
how was
so
it for you all?
fun.